Today, the 27th day of October 2020. The last time we be the talk about the relationship between the Okada riders them, or you can say the bike riders them, and the Sierra Leone police. Inside our program day, boku suggestions them become. Everybody be getting on take, and everybody be give some suggestion how we think to say we go able fix up the bike riders them na salon. Now on that note, we get a transport expert today, where himself be able for listen that program day, and himself na part of this urban mobility project. But for today, he not represents the company. He can talk to we on how he feels say this thing go work and some ideas them where he go able for share with we. But before we bring and come on board, make we just look within the COVID-19 status updates look like for today. Remember yesterday, within na be the number of confirmed cases then we get, if you remember. Na be 0. And Amos test the labs then be conduct. Na be 92. Okay? I will tell you say, make we wait for today. Today, the labs then conduct 703 tests. 703 tests. Now in the labs then conduct for the past 24 hours. And the other one, they will not be coming. They all just add parties. Out of the 703 tests, 4 turn out to be positive. And then 4 now 1 from Western Area Urban, 1 from Bombali, 1 from Potloko, and 1 from Kono. So 4 districts, then all send 111 representative them for today. Because of that 4, we don't get the confirmed cumulative numbers, don't reach now 2,350. 2,350 people and they don't test positive na salon. For the past 24 hours, nobody not lost in life to COVID-19. So we still stand at 74 for the total number of people who were lost in life to COVID-19 na salon. The one them were in isolation center, now 486. We get the virus, we take treatment. The one them we don't recover for the past 24 hours, we don't beat COVID-19 na salon, na 3 people. So that one they don't care the total number of people we don't recover from coronavirus na salon to 1,790. 1,790. The one them where they in quarantine, now 138. That is good. We did drop and drastically. We just wait for make we go below 100 now. The one them on discharge from quarantine, now 11,903. 11,903. Make we check na the Mano River Union countries them. Remember yesterday, they all be 000 pass Ivory Coast to be get number, not so. But today, let we look. Guinea 0. For say Guinea, they need to test again. They only part this election could scarce or God go where they happen. So it's like nobody know the swab, nobody know the take test, nobody know the test at the lab, nobody know they analyze, nobody know they do nothing again. Yesterday na 0, today na 0. Guinea. Okay. Liberia 23, Sierra Leone 4, and Ivory Coast 16. Then they give a total of 43 people who test positive na the Mano River Union countries them today. The cumulative death: Salone na 74, Guinea na 71, Liberia na 82, and Ivory Coast na 122. Now when they give a total number of 349 people we don't lost their life to COVID-19 at the Mano River Union countries them. Remember, even though the government of Salone say through NACOVAC, they don't lift the coffee order for waiting for 4 weeks. They lift them for 4 weeks. Let we know say all the other measures then still there in place. They don't scale down 40%. But still yet they want make we know say they want make me and you know say COVID-19 still they Salone. Make we not feel say COVID-19 done na Salone. Yes, we don't get we guest for today. We na Victor Mengot, and there is nobody new to this platform. Today we get him as a transport expert. He can tell we small. He can establish naya within this urban mobility project they about. And as we get a lot of suggestions them for the Okada riders them the last time we will be there naya. We go stretch the conversation small, but I go make him introduce himself. Welcome to Sierra Network Radio, Victor Mengot.
Thank you very much, Mr. Presenter. Well, for the family that will listen, my name is Victor Mengot, a Sierra Leonean based in the UK, who is a transport expert, and I don't deal in the profession for over 40 years. Starting as an air traffic controller in Lunge Airport. And since then, I don't work in several African countries, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Ghana, Liberia, Kenya, Uganda, Mali, and a host of other countries where they try for help for improved transport, focusing on issues relating to safety and convenience, and for improved transport now with African countries then.
Okay, before we start, I want to make you focus more on this urban mobility project. I really want to make you take your time and explain to we what in the about, what in we able for gain, and what in go they in store for we as Fritonians them inside this particular project. Just explain to us, sir.
Well, the urban mobility project, now projects where World Bank now then they finance them to the tune of $50 million. And I will stress at this point, say not alone, so not to where we government go trust money. Now this present government initiative where they negotiate with the World Bank for make sure say we look at how transport they operate with capital city. Because transport, the lifeblood of any economy. And for now, when we look at transport, we not just look at the operation, we look at several areas. One, we look at the infrastructure. As we all know, the roads in our country and Freetown in particular, some of these roads, they're old. We not get modern traffic management system, things like traffic signals and road markings, signage, and all the rest of it. We also, when you talk about infrastructure, you have to talk about things like bus terminals, bus stops, the road network. And we also say during the season, there's a lot of challenge because drainage system a problem now with capital. And when rain comes, the road can overflow and then they can cause problem for the transport them. So that's not the infrastructure side we talk about. Then we talk about the people the way they operate transport. We get 4 different type transports now Salone. We get the buses the way road transport they run. we down in a government operation, we about 15% of all the services provided. We get Pura, we get Okada, we get shared taxi. And all land transport, then they compete for use the road network we get. So we have to look at how they operate them transport there, how they regulate them, how they license them, and how they enforce them. When it comes to enforcement, you get three different authorities. You get Freetown City Council, when they deal with parking. You get Leone Road Safety Authority, when they're responsible for vehicle and driver licensing, and they also get the road safety core way. Beaucoup people they actually say them people there, although they try for improved safety, but there are challenges in terms of how they exercise their power. You also get Freetown City Council when and they look after parking at the central business district. So we have to look at all the institutions here, how they operate, and how the areas where they overlap, and how they coordinate for them and provide better service for we people there. Then also the urban mobility project, also they look at how they decongest the city in some key areas. One particular area we get major challenge around the Lumley area, because all my familiar with that Lumley area there, where you see if you go around the Lumley roundabout, like say you go inside the village, you get problem for parking, inside the Okada they park, inside Pura in the park. So part of the project now for look at a new terminal. Now that Lumley area there, where it will be a terminal where a modern terminal for all public transport where they park. They also they look for provide market them where the markets that are Lumley area where you go move people them from the street. So that's a part of also the infrastructure where they look at for develop. Then if you are bringing more than bus transport kind of Freetown, then they look at two corridors. The western corridor where they start from number 2 to Lumley to the bus station at Wallace Johnson Street. Then you get the eastern corridor where they start from Wallace Johnson Street, go through Kisi Ferry Terminal, Kisi Shell, Kalbatong, and Dwe. So that route then now will be a pilot route where the government they work with World Bank and the Ministry of Transport for provide a modern transport system where this system will be it will be a ticketless system, and it will be a system where the transport will get high capacity. And where they operate their routes, then there is also plan for let you get the other forms of transport then for provide feeder services at the main routes. So these are some of the things that we look. And also when it comes to things to do with junction design, we shall get conjunction. They look for improve the Lumley roundabout, a new design, the Congo Cross roundabout. And then we also the thing for bus stop, because now you get most of the public transport and just they stop all side. You know, we not get bus stop na their routes there. So these are some of the things that with this urban mobility project they're about.
Okay. I just make clear you lay everything on the table. Then now we go begin for the dissect them one by one. The first part, for do any project na money. And now you don't tell we say this particular money na World Bank sponsor and not to even loan. Na something we na grant we na give then give we. The money get for day by installment as the projects they go, or you feel say the money is up there and just we now need for begin for implement and then the money will be disbursed just like how we for day.
Well, as I say, the project get different components them, and each component get amounts where they allocate for that component. So now we look at how the whole project managed. The main ministry where they in charge of the project, now the Ministry of Transport and Aviation. And that ministry then they then get the project implementation unit, where they with the help of some consultants, now they're responsible for bringing everybody were involved in the transport sector. People are going to say non-state actors and state actors. But what I mean state actors, government organization there, whether ministries or departments. The few examples now, Roads Authority, when they're responsible for roads, things to do with signage and everything. You get Road Safety Authority when they people and they go for their license, for register their motor car. You get Road Transport Corporation when they provide buses, especially buses the way they go upline, and some buses the way they run a Freetown. Then you get the police, where responsible for enforcement, and then City Council, because City Council under the bylaws get responsibility for parking within the central business districts. That is the area where all them commercial farms and they like around the Bank of Sierra Leone area, Cotton Tree, and all them places and they. Then the other people that were involved with them become very important now. Now like the Motor Drivers Union, we represent the drivers, and the Indigenous Transport Owners Association, the Keke Union, the Okada Union, and the Passenger Welfare Organization. So the one and then are the people that way, whatever changes the Canada and affect, so that they meet for decide how to improve transport under the management of Ministry of Transport, now the special unit. But when you talk about the money there, and this project, now project will last up to 5 years, fully complete. So for each project where each sector of the project, the money were allocated, the people the way they manage the finance, then they under Ministry of Finance. When are the project fiduciary management units, now they're accountable to World Bank and the government for make sure say when the project they do by stages, the money will be available for complete the project. So that is how it happens.
Okay.
Then, yeah.
When this discussion be go about the urban mobility projects, were there any time where the mention of train or water taxi, because when I talk about the congestion again, then because the sea is still the open where I think say for decongest, if we use the water or we use train, any mention become around the area then there?
Well, not really, because we have to look also with waiting, because saying a Freetown now, you get the Freetown City Council, and the mayor self get their own plan for under the Transform Freetown. Under that Transform Freetown Day project, the mayor gets they don't look at water transport, how it will improve Freetown, and as we all hear say, the mayor said they talk about cable car and all that and they. So what thing the mayor they do will complement this World Bank project. But this World Bank project, in main focus, now the infrastructure, we host them how they operate traffic management and everything. The people that way they operate the transport, both the private and the public sector, and the institutions them where they manage transport, we're responsible for policy, regulation, and enforcement. Yes, because the road network, like the pilot route where they talk about so, okay, like you the eastern part of the route. You see place like Sani Abacha Street, now very important road, they reach to that small police, that junction there. Then you look at Kisi Road in a main artery. And one of the things we go help, although it is not a part of this project, now the mountain bypass. That now the road where they come up from Upgun Turntable, where they pass back up Kisi Road, Bengon, can bus by Pademba Road. Jomo Kenyatta Road. So obviously if that road they don't complete, it will ease the congestion at the main center. And some of the routes then where would they talk about now, for them, this main corridor them, part of the routes will be public transport only. But the other two we'll get for mention, when they talk about transport, you not just they look at the road network, you they look at urban settlement. Because Freetown originally, they mean for, the town be mean for 200,000 people. Now we get about 1.4 million people in Freetown. And satellite towns, they don't grow all around the peninsula. And when you talk about Freetown comprises now of western rural and western urban. So if you take the western part of Freetown, you get new satellite towns there, like places like Kamayama, Kinango, Kuntolo, all around and in a traffic generated areas. So we'll therefore look at whose kind of transport system they are, you they connect then people and they to the main network. Now that's now they with people that way have been talked about kind side. The main people who they provide transport for them people and then are the Okada and the Keke people. So how we they look at how we go regulate them?
Yes, because the next question, Andy, the Okada riders or the bike riding, since the time we then start to now, the only thing we then go tell we say then get different chairman them, now they parking ground them, then also get the national body and also then get marshals them. But I think say if Okada or bike riding na an entity na Salono they provide jobs for people them, it should be regulated and there should be a formation. So what's in the inside this urban mobility for them?
Okay, what's in the inside this urban mobility for them is that first of all you get to look at how Okada then they manage them. Then get right now the good thing about it, they already get the Okada Union and the Keke Union. The Road Transport Road Safety Authority, they do a lot of good work where they sensitize them about how to wear helmets and how they for behave and all that thing, and they then get a program. But the example, what would they look at, where the project they look at, which I think we look for example in other country, typical example now like Kenya. In Kenya now, what they do, and I've been on work on that project there, the Keke and the Okada Union, they form what we call cooperatives. So in Kenya, the law is, if you not join that cooperative day, you're not going to be able to register your Keke and Okada. So the first thing we get for do even, na salon, for make sure so we're able to regulate Okada. Now for know how much Okada will get, who side and they operate and who they operate them. In our previous program where this network been get, we hear from the police, we hear from the Okada Union about the lawlessness and the fact that say the Okada Union people and say policeman and sojaman when they pull the uniform, then they go ride Okada. So the first thing we'll get for look at the system, how Okada they operate, who they operate them, who side they operate, get a complete record of all who they operate Okada, who they get license. Now they feel like insurance kind side. You get for get institution when a part of this whole thing, like the insurance association, then self. Because once you are get for tell me fumble them, when they talk about regulation of Okada, we get for talk about we on public perception. With people and they then self Changais. I don't think I put on Boku say we mami go put 3 Pekin on top Okada. And now Okada they will put in Pekin and for care and go school. You don't know if the Okada license, you don't know if you insure, right? So you self the people themselves when they use them get blamed. So this public education, public awareness, using all the media, very important for let we all join and regulate.
I want all you under quick. We say the people and get blamed because somebody take Okada and don't know if he register and don't know if he license and don't know if he get insurance. So if you want to look on a perspective, say as long as that Okada don't kind of street, he gets a license plate. The police for don't vet that for make sure say this Okada a road worthy, meaning it meets all the criteria them. And nothing say me where they go board na the Okada or waiting and me for go ask and back say last you license or make us see if you insure in such a way or na another aspect you try for put them on.
Okay, now the part where they talk about people then the risk where then they take where people and they load abnormal load now Okada and more than 1 or 2. But when it comes to regulation, one of the challenges to get to for realize for regulate Okada, the people that they license them where they give them a license now the Stallion Road Safety Authority, and then they monitor them through the road safety corps members that within a treat. But then the same time you get policemen and separate responsible for regulation. So what you get for look at how then 2 organizations go work together for letting get a proper system for regulate this Okada. For example, now under modern system, each Okada get number plate. So technology there where police and road safety authority can share using app where the man where they enforce the Okada, all you get for do now for put that license number plate in an app with the mobile phone. If you able to know whether the Okada they register, who they register to, and whether they insure. And also road safety authority through this the new system where they do they say they get a new e-system where they try for motorcar. I don't know how far and they don't go to Okada. If they're able to develop that system, then they first of all, let's start with waiting the law say now. Under the Road Traffic Act 2007, Section 3 say the authority, when a road safety authority, forgets a database of every registered vehicle. When I mean vehicle, I mean all types of vehicle, whether a keke, whether a Okada, whether a bus, you can't forget that line. So that registered, the law also say it will be open to public examination on application and for pay a prescribed fee. I think that's one part of the law will not fully implemented. Let's say, for instance, now, most people in the complaint say they Okada driver, then lawless, then they drive, and they broke people, they wing mirror. If we put that system there completely, if you get an Okada now where hit you motorcar, you get in license, you for able check with road transport authority who that Okada registered it to, where they go able license and trace the person. So we get a lot of work for do. But the groundwork don't already there.
A lot of work for do. The groundwork don't already there. In mapping out strategy for the bike riders, then, is there anything we go come to say, like flash vest, like route numbering, like say, na ya you day, na you number this. So if you come out here, you go area B go no say you na area A you come out. Is there anything like that?
No, but you see, most of this thing, one thing I can say, from my experience in other African countries, Salon, when of us say we not get laws there, we get laws. If you look at the road transport regulation through 2011, Okada is classified as public transport. So if in a public transport and the road safety authority get that responsibility there for designate routes for Okada them. Just like how we get taxi now, you see taxi where they western region, eastern region, the law already there. So not of us saying a new law or new regulation. Now the implementation now is the challenge.
As always, we get implementation challenge, we get data challenge, we get all the things here we not challenge. I want to make we come now to the bus services for the Sierra Leone Road Transport Corporation. What's in the inside for them?
Okay, right now, if you look at let me start, we'll go to the history of Road Transport Corporation, because when they look at them, you therefore look at the history. The Road Transport Corporation, they may establish them under an Act of Parliament, number 17, 1964. And the time they established that Act of Parliament Day, it came about with the closure of the railway. And then get mandate under the Act Day, when for provide and regulate transport all around the country. Then they operate bus. Then they also get other responsibility according to the Act Day, when they repair government vehicles. They also get other things the way they do when are commercial activities under the mandate way for bring extra income. But in 2018, we get one body in a salon where they call the Public Sector Reform Unit, where they may not look into the management and functional review of Sierra Leone Road Transport Corporation. And they make several recommendations. So their recommendation, they include the structure of the Road Transport Corporation. And one of the things that in most countries now, and where I think say, not where this program will address. Now for say, well, road transport, as it operates now under government, there's a lot of subsidy. If you look at waiting people and they pay for road transport, and the rise in fuel, the operational costs is far outweigh the revenue. So in order to able to meet a proper transport system.
That's a road transport.
Yes, road transport.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of the things where this project they consider now for change the role of Road Transport Corporation from a service provider to a regulator, where hopefully it could become the Sahelian Public Transport Authority.
So explain to us small, but make we get an understanding about a service provider where right now they get bus system, where then they manage government, they subsidize, then commodity now for be a regulator. Is it like a privatization sort of?
Well, it is not a privatization of road transport. It is actually, like most services, they will still be involved, but they will be like the overall manager. Because if you check the current statistics now, as Abinon said, 85% of public transport, now the private sector, the operator. Government, and even when we look at how we public transport and they run, now feel and go. Because themselves, they not get routes, they now way most of them they run. Because now make sure that they overspeed and then depend on for the pick and drop passenger at frequent intervals. Because if you say when you look at the routine and forget direct transport, you therefore look at operating costs, all length and this. So what the Road Transport Corporation will do now, if it become an authority. Now for look into the problem of them transport here, them operate to them, work with them, see how they go, not even way they talk, but improve the standard of the buses, the way they operate, and put the way they operate in our country. So all the other public transport, then Road Transport Corporation, if we convert now to a regulator, then go able work with them private sector providers and now for plan how the transport go operate.
In this corridor where we talk about, the present administration tell we say then they try for secure buses them. So how can they regulate whether or not they provide service again? If them bus then they can.
Well, part of the work where the team get for do, now for look at the institutional capacity of bus operator them. I mean, the skills of bus operator them for operate. So even if they bring, even the government they plan for bringing new buses, like most country, we around the place, then go give them bus then they go there as a franchise operators. So in other words, they go look at private sector operator, train them, capacitate them, and make sure say then are the one that we're going to run the buses them under a concession scheme. Yeah. So that way, Road Transport Corporation will able to know who side the buses then they operate and the routes them, and then go responsible for the planning and regulation rather than for like now we themselves no operator. Now the main difference that
when these corridors be they talk about anything they way they don't mention forget like a bike lane for the Okada riders them.
Well, when we look at the topography of Freetown, right, and also we look at the congestion, bike lane no go. The corridor now a pilot corridor we dining up for the new buses and the modern transport system. And part of the corridor will be public transport only. So and then public transport, the then buses and the buses that were authorized by the new Public Transport Authority for operate day. Just like now they use not to all side Okada they run. And now make so we get this draw where the government say Okada not for going to the central business district. And as a the last interview with the Okada operator them say, first of all, we got to get a clear definition of a map. Who sign at the central business district? Who sign enough for operate? Okada them, as from your transport experience and expertise, I see them as the one the way they provide transport in the last mile. in modern transport system, what we call that form of movement day, now we call intermodal transport system, because you start first with the basic transport when a foot. So what can I use? Go to junction, go take your Okada, which is the next mode of transport. Then that Okada day will take you now to a point where you will able to get bus transport them. We will take you on routes the way government say na their routes here the bus and they operate. So now the kind of system that they will look forward to.
What to make I ask this problem, this question here, now because if we want for decongest, yeah, in all the areas, the most of the corridors get for pass, if we want for decongest the Okada then too many na all the areas then they. And just like how you say so, if we don't already get buses, we don't get taxi them, we don't get all the, and if traffic they flow, why do we still need bikes them inside the same areas than they? Whereas the bikes then they can take like the difficult areas, like that's how we say the motorcar, not they go put you down right in front of your house, but the bikes then can take you now from that area there, outside the motorcar, the other transport, I mean the bus or the taxi put you down, then they're able to take you now to your final destination.
Well, not to just salon no more, from my experience, in different countries, that's how they operate. Rwanda is a typical example. In Rwanda, they get a system where all bike riders then get area where they ride. They also get a compulsory say they forget that safety vest. And each bike rider forget 2 helmets, one for himself, one for the passenger. And that safety vest, the way they wear, it gets a number for show which zone that bike they operate. So if you get problem with them, you get a number there, you will able to get them for operate. And like even in Rwanda, they not improve the system for use modern technology where you get app like computer where you get on your phone, you see able to get that app there, and we only get a kind of system in a Tongo organize the Okada rider. So you can in a particular area, you know your Okada the way they ride in the area. You can able book your Okada to using your phone. So Okada, we not foresee Okada as the main means of transport. The reason we get Okada, now 2 reasons. One, because of congestion, where people don't move fast, we not get more than transport system. Number 2, because of convenience. You know, people in the look say Okada can't take the role of a modern public transport. Let's go back how transport developed. In 4 or 5 years back, the keke that we've been in a free on them is very few. When the last government decides say Okada they not for going to the CBD, now we see keke and Bokuna the tongue because keke not restricted. And what you get now, you get a system where the Okada rider then are some of the non-turn keke rider then. You know, so in trying to tackle one problem, another problem don't create when the keke them. So we have to look at also the keke them, how they regulate them, and who side they run. You go Accra, you go Nairobi, even Monrovia, where I just do some work recently. Earlier than they were then Okada and keke not they operate. And in that same way they would look for improved transport, now free tongue, and for reduced congestion.
For able for stop the bikes them, for gonna areas them, one way go help. Now when people then take transport, they're able less traffic because what to make Okada begin can even inside the CBD area now because of the traffic congestion. Because somebody want go walk, let me make an example, just like waiting the bike riders and tell when are up gone. Say then the ferry people them for even to State House. Say when the traffic can don't really sit down like Kisi Road and for Bay Road, then one and they pack them motorcar them na that up gone area, then hop na the bikes them, then they want they carry them go. So if after all this we still get traffic, there's a way where the bikes them go find way back for sneak inside because waiting do people then go prefer them because they then go be a preference over the road where we go say we don't do what you get for do, but enable provide the clear traffic for make everybody roll around.
Well, again, apart from being a transport expert, I'm also an expert for urban planning. One of the things that we'll get for look at now we country and Freetown in particular. Now how would they plan with city? You know, because waiting they cause the congestion because you get few areas where they all man for go. Because if you look at the main employment zone in Freetown, right? Most people in the go to that main area, they also all the banks and they. So if we look at planning and try for plan with city properly and make sure say we get facilities in a different area, then they will help the congestion. Because like yesterday, I've been listening to a program, the SLRS hour on the radio. First time when you want license your vehicle or get driver license, na Kisi Road they go. SLRS don't say now, then get placed na Pademba Road. So you in the Western, you not get no reason for go Kisi Road for go license your vehicle. So the same way they plan with city, even when it comes to government offices and other facilities like hospital, schools them. The point is, if you did a different zone, we plan the zone then. So that demand for travel, now one area, when they cause the congestion, it will reduce. So if we plan transport in Freetown, you can't plan transport in isolation. You therefore look at the physical planning of the city.
I know I make you feel I just try for go back. Concerning the bus them where the administration don't promise we say then they come. I remember just now I even asked you say if any kind way we been try for see if train go come inside. Then you make mention of the Transform Freetown project. The Transform Freetown project and this urban mobility project, are they two separate projects where they try for meet up at an intersection? Or then just they ride along parallel and everybody they try for going your own way?
Not really. The mayor and Freetown City Council are not part of this project. They are also a major stakeholder. But the issue is, if you want to get different transport option there, how you go finance them? So you get different forms of financing. So the mayor get your own plan for improved transport, and part of the Tewada attend meeting at the mayor in Transform Freetown Group. The same thing we've been talking before, we get water transport. And one thing I can say, in your view as a transport man, we get natural waters then, where we know they make use of. Because if you look at how population they shift, if you take that western part of Freetown, we now don't turn the western rural, then Godrich, Aberdeen, number 2, take go all them places then they, right? The people that were in the area then they, now the main area that they can walk. So if we can look at that coastal transport, when then different villages like Godrich, Hamilton, we get place the way boats then go there for the transport people them, right? If the government and city council provide the infrastructure, then private sector people then go put them boats, because people then go there, you go there like number 2. So now you take your boats along the river, you can own a government swap or even Kleintown. So there are other forms of transport and they will get for looking to them. But this one, not they cover the area then do.
Yes, I understand say not the cover. You think say now because the ferry, if the ferry, me don't think you feel say what they talk about this water transport now because the ferry no they do well. Maybe feel say if the ferry be really they do well, all this decongestion what they talk about now either the water transport or maybe come with train now that water edge day where they ride along many miles now the water edge where we go able to get train or we do the water taxi. But maybe because we know they do well pan ferry, now make we they try for look bad eye na that area day.
Well, again, if we look at the ferry they will get now, the most side they will get where they use ferry now from Lunge Peninsula for Kan na Freetown. But when you talk about coastal transport, like the one they talk, the one they around the peninsula villages there, now different form of transport you talk with different from ferry.
Okay.
Now, similar thing that
before you come in to the other part, wait to make me call ferry, because ferry is way cheaper, because the similar thing, it go be like the sea coach and the other one there, but they were very expensive. We not go able to make the ordinary man try for use them. You can continue, sir.
No, you can get the form of transport, because sea coach, where we look at the way sea coach they operate, they're valued customer than they cater for. Right? You get both them. Just like how, let's give an example now. Like how people in the Komolunge, you get people the way they use pampa.
Okay.
You understand? Similarly, if we look at coastal transport, we look at transport, a kind of transport we're not that expensive for operate, and also we're affordable. Yeah. Very affordable, because if you get in kind of transport and then people then go able to use them. You have to talk about the affordability and the safety. You can easily get yourself like what you will call, we'll get what you will call park and ride in the country here. Where they drive your car, go and so you park your car, you jump in a public transport. Similarly, that system, the same way that system, we can operate them using the coastal transport, because if we get jetty then all them different villages then the poda they can run go outside the jetty then people they load in a boat, then travel can do.
But that one they know they inside the urban mobility project.
No, that they know they are the urban mobility project. This now the other urban mobility project now pilot now start.
Exactly. Now I want to see this one entry point maybe down the road.
Point. Yeah. And now when they can get what they think for get a public transport authority, and that I should say with them they will look into other forms of transport, because we get as I said, the coastway and natural waterway. Why would not they make benefit or will not they make use of them? But for do that, it will therefore be a partnership between the government, both local and central government, and the private sector.
And just
because that man operating boats, go need place for land in both the land.
Exactly.
And outside the boat the land, you go need terminal outside people in the way to secure. So government na an enabler. Now they create the environment for let the private sector able to operate. And now when they talk about saying forget a national public transport authority, I believe say then and two they will consider.
What they talk about, you begin the intro, you talk about the institutional landscape. We talk about the Ministry of Transport and Aviation, and then the plan and all the policy where they are around that. You get Ministry of Works and Public Assets, where now then they construct and maintain the main road network then through the Sierra Leone Roads Authority. For inside this particular one, I want to make you give me what's in a roads authority they own, what's in a road transport they own, and what's in a the road safety. These things about all the wire, and even when they talk about police then a road and the traffic cops then a road, like say now too much of duplication. Try to explain to we make we understand, like the road safety authority, you get the road transport, you get all the roads authority. What's in the difference with the wire inside this project?
Okay, now we start first with the roads authority. The roads authority, they create them in 2010. Now part of LECO will get PWD under Ministry of Public Works. Their own role, now then the experts then get the engineers them where they set standards for road maintenance, rehabilitation, and development. They know they maintain the road. Now then they set the standards. So
pretty much like the policy makers.
Yeah, the policy makers.
Okay.
Yeah, and quality assurance people them.
Okay.
Now, one agency will get where safe day where most people they don't know about. Now the Road Maintenance Fund Administration. The Road Maintenance Fund Administration, where they create them, then now they for collect the money, or for use for maintain we road them. And how do they get that money then? Then they get the money from the fuel levy. So for every gallon of fuel where anybody they buy, part of that cost of that fuel, they go into a fund for maintaining the road. They get money from Sierra Leone Road Safety Authority, where the money when they get from their own regulatory responsibility. So let me tell you what the Road Safety Authority they do. Road Safety Authority, before they change the name, they have been the Sierra Leone Public Transport Authority. Now they're responsible for vehicle licensing, vehicle registration, roadworthiness check, where it means say now they for make sure say all the vehicles they're waiting a road are mechanically fit. They also get responsibility for license garage. They get responsibility for license spare part shop and also driving school. Now, inside the thing come when President Kabab been in power in 2003, now they amend the act, then create the Sierra Leone Traffic Warden Service, where they under Road Safety Authority, when they under the enforcement arm. The original idea now for make them work with the police together for traffic enforcement. But with time, when they change them to Sierra Leone Road Traffic Corps, right? Which means they get a lot of enforcement duty. So one of the challenges we get now how then two organizations are responsible for enforcement the work? Then are the road authority, road safety authority enforcement officers and the police. Even if you want to go by the present law, the Road Traffic Act 207 say, now police officer will get rank of inspector and above, now get for do spot fine. Because we get now we law them spot fine, we then go stop, like when they give tickets. But the Road Safety Authority then self, they do the same. But when they amend the act, when the thing that they will get for look at in 203, they get a clause in the act where say the road safety warden or traffic cops get the same powers and privileges of the police. So we got to look into that. Even when it comes to parking, Freetown City Council, under the bylaws, get responsibility for parking. So we have to look at them three institutions there. We're responsible for traffic enforcement, how they work, how they coordinate, and let the public know who they get rights for do certain things. They know there now, but certain things and the way they happen, where people they don't know. Because by law, if they give you tickets according to the present law, you get 72 hours for pay for that ticket pay. But we're running for where people and they complain, say traffic warden they meet them, give them tickets, say them for pay immediately. And if they not pay, then they camp them with a car, where will cost them more about 400,000. So these are the things, things there we get for look at. Yeah, the powers them of the enforcement authority, and also public education for let people they know their rights under the law.
Okay.
We also get policeman who will stop you. He say, "At the council you motor drive you go to station." The president will not get that power there. For say power paying for take you go to station. Inside your motor car. So now then clear we get for look at.
Okay, before we come, I go make you look inside this small. He left the Road Transport Corporation. Okay, the Road Transport Corporation, as them day now, waiting na their role according to the law where they get, because their own law, now that's the truth they talk. The law where established the Road Transport Corporation in 1964, just after independence, and will not ever review that law. And that law, they will even give them power for say, the legal mandate now for provide and regulate passenger transport all around the country. But again, when they talk about the institution here, if you look at the act again, under the 207 Traffic Act and the 2011 Traffic Regulation, the Sierra Leone Road Safety Authority also get power for regulate public transport. So now there I will tell you, say, as you say,
some kind of duplication there.
Inside here, we don't.
There also the Road Transport Corporation. I'll finish again.
Okay, continue.
They also, when they set them up, right? Now they are responsible for maintaining government vehicles. Then all official government vehicles, so they get garages there where they maintain vehicles. Then also they do things them way as they may set up, like where they do certain retrofitting of some equipment them for add value to the services and for bringing income. So now so they may set them up. And from 1964 where they set them up that way, they not change any law for Road Transport Corporation. So mostly now, then they operate buses then for go upline, then they operate city buses then. But that way they may establish them. But then the way they establish Road Transport Corporation will not be get Keke, will not be get Okada. Even Poda be very few. In my own days, they have been grown at tongue. The way taxi been operate and how taxi they operate now in a different way. Because first time we know say we will grow up, you can send somebody like go call taxi for you. They can't pick in a house, carry you go. Now the taxi they operate like the Poda and like the Keke.
Inside we all this one where they talk about road transport and all those things. Is there any way where we get, or even the regulated one where they call the Road Safety Authority? Is there anyone where they get like traffic courts where they can carry somebody go where they go for go say guilty or not guilty? Anything like that?
Well, me in a post where I did one traffic forum where actually we get some magistrate courts we get responsibility for deal with traffic cases then. But in a salon, we not get traffic courts then dedicated to traffic, which is one way what things say can happen for why improvements we can get. Because neighbor in Liberia where I just worked for the last 12 months, they get traffic courts then. So if for instance a police officer gives tickets where you think say you get some kind of argument about certain traffic charges, you can get a redress in a court. In Liberia, that happens. Other countries in Africa, we also get traffic courts, but we not get that kind of traffic courts in a salon.
Okay. We get too many authorities then, where they, for this road, where we still see bad road, we see congested road, we see traffic way not correct, we see motorcade in a road way not correct, with all the authorities there where we get, as you don't help with outline and make we understand. Is it that because there are too many and the duplication then they inside the world don't they highlight one or two, so now I make people and they get away with things, or then if they get away with things where somebody go feel say, well, until that one they back go do make them do until that one they back say, well, until that one they make them do so it's like that one they feel say then they go do then they feel say then they go do and then the work is not being done.
Well, now I can say there's improvement because the Road Safety Authority then they now coordinate with police and other enforcement agency. They get regular meetings of the one that we're responsible for enforcement. But the key question is, now the laws them. We therefore look at we laws them and see whose side duplication they and whose side we get gaps in the law. So for anything, you therefore look at how you change the law. Secondly, if you want to do enforcement, you therefore look at the resources we get. I can tell you, say, out of a total police force of 12,000 officers, only 800 are traffic police. And 60% of them traffic police and they now around the western rural area they get. In some countries, even in Africa, you get mobile traffic police there, where you go give them motorbike, right? You get for improve the system. One of the system where they look when it comes to enforcement again, now how for be able for use modern technology for check vehicles them where they run now, we treat them. Right now, there is story there about how how people and they lost their vehicle and they thief vehicle and everything. One they look at, you get a system where then most countries where they call ANPR, automatic number plate recognition. How do they work? It means a road safety authority, when at the authority, they forget a database of all vehicle and driver license. Now, age of technology today. If they get a database, then they for link to an app where the enforcement officers them be able, with a simple mobile phone, identify whether now fake license you get on a fake driver. Not only that, that same app there, it can get details of traffic offenses and waiting at the penalties for them traffic offenses then they.
I want to make we look on one or two scenarios, yeah? Before I go left you small, we'll bring callers them on board. This particular road there, na main road, a lot of cars then they pass there. But you get one big pothole. When they make one motor car they enter, other your shaft go broke, other your tire go explode and all these things. We, the people them, we can just come, we find stone we put there, or we, the drivers them, we try for balance that pothole there. Explain to we how we foresee this wire be amended, be fixed. Waiting now the different authorities then we responsible say to the one them we get for can fix them. For the how they provide the money, the how they provide the police, everything. Explain to we with what you get at table now.
Okay, when you talk about road maintenance, the first thing you have to do now what you call road classification. What I mean by road classification, if you take Freetown for example, we get to know the roads them where the principal roads where they are in a responsibility of the Ministry of Public Works. They will get to know the roads them where they under the municipality, which is like Freetown City Council. Then the third type of road we get a private road them. Because you get people that win a private road and like in England also the road also mean they in a private road. And that private road, the way they in the road, now we responsible for repair that road. So let's look how we for look at road repairs. I mean, don't talk about the road maintenance for the administration. We now then get the fund for provide for road maintenance. Part of that fund, some money they waiting for they allocate to the municipalities there, like Freetown City Council, Bo City Council, or wherever, and even some of the chiefdoms and rural roads. Yeah. So for let the system work fine, all the like Freetown City Council, so if they don't know the road where they're responsible for, then go able to do the assessment of road and road maintenance plan. So even we the citizens self go get for know which road they on the city council will get for report to. And you can get a hotline where if you get a road damage, you know the road. This is not technology. If you don't have a road, so now the system will get the procedure there. Because in other countries, them, now Africa, I know they talk about Europe, every year, if na local government authority, then get for provide a road maintenance plan. The government itself working with SLRA, now they're supposed to do that road maintenance plan. They will look at how much money we get for maintain the road. They will be able to know annually which road and which road will they repair. And that fund they come up from the road maintenance fund administration. And I must say, when we look at the money we road maintenance fund they collect, it not be enough for maintain we road. So we have to look at that again. Because if the main principal source of the income now from fuel levy, if they say they want to increase the maintenance component, it will mean say fuel price will go up. And then the people they're not glad for that.
Okay, you don't have to explain to we now about this one body road. The next one will anchor out another scenario. We don't see inside salon, usai I go use first the traffic police, then the traffic warden, even though you don't try for throw light on the traffic warden. We don't use traffic police, they come. he try for put your hand inside a public transport, let's say I put our bus driver, and pull the key from the switch. We don't see traffic police, they take driver's license. The driver in license, they take him from him. Where again, the guy again, they say, go come. So that driver then now they drive without a license. We don't see who side and get one other thing where this lock with and they take lock bike. Then they tie on the steering, then tie on the car indoor. So that you not go able for move again. We don't see all that strategy then where the police they use on drivers them. The law permits them for do that?
Well, according to the present law, anybody can check and quote me on that. Now, two laws that we get for traffic enforcement. We get the Road Traffic Act 2007. We also get the Road Traffic Regulation 2011. All them here you mentioned, I can challenge anybody in order any part of their law than they.
If in order then police they do them. What's in with the citizen get right for do?
Well, we the citizen now, one of the things that we're working, now we get for now, in some countries, and I think so we'll get to that day, you get like motorist organization. Because the citizen themselves get for organize themselves and make sure say some of these things, unless you challenge them en masse, it will continue to happen.
Now I want to come to the traffic warden. Even though you don't tell me about that on the spot check, on the spot fine, then go meet you, then go tow your vehicle. There is one scenario where when I make myself, I know they go na the CBD. I defend far way park, I take keke cam. Where you go meet them young guys them inside town, then go tell you, hey, pack here, no more pack here, they watch for you. But if you're unfortunate that day, the SLISA motoka come, then go to you motoka go, and at the end of the day, the loss go there on your side. And we don't see who side and they say yes, then clamp your motoka, go make you go pay. Then if you not pay, then not they release that clamp they pay your motoka, where then go say we pack who sign off a pack. Yanda the parking you tell me about Freetown City Council. With these road safety cops enforcing this kind of laws, them where even the SSF then they take you even a bike or whatever, then they take and can go na the headquarter or outside and they keep, then say pass you go pay before you go can collect your money. Where not to say a due to not of us say you're not roadworthy, but something a traffic offense where you commit, where maybe if traffic cuts been there, that one day for don't help out. What thing you want for advise the citizen and based on this scenario I give so?
Okay, now let's look at parking first. I will take it one by one. If you want to look for enforced parking, forget about the authority whether na city council, whether na police, because that day, because police, city council, and road safety corp, they all get rights for enforced parking. Which will not get na designated areas them. For no whether they operate here, whether they operate yonder. And for enforced parking, one, you just forget what we call control parking zone. And how people then go know whether na control parking zone or not to control parking zone. You get forget road sign which show say either this na no parking or you get road marking. Like some country there you get yellow line, you get double yellow line where you know say you know for park here. In some areas you get restricted parking. So we have to look at with road signs and road markings enforced so that people will know who sign not for park and when not for park. And that responsibility therefore puts them in at the road and decide that it is between roads authority, the police, road safety authority, and city council. So we therefore begin know who side people there for park and who side people there not for park. Now, we support that idea we say if we able to get traffic cuts them. Because if you even look at the act, the 203 Act, amended act, we give the powers then to the traffic warden. You get and they say, if somebody want challenge the traffic, the enforcement, it get calls, the traffic warden can bring in the police for investigation. Right? So what you get at Salona, a very draconian system. What a babati business, where we the citizens them not get rights for challenge things that we feel say no right. And what you do that they happen, so man go say before I go court, I go waste me time, I go police, I go waste me time, la either pay the fine or give me coffee. So now the problem that they will get.
Well, I think say we don't try for establish now, make we get an understanding. We want left you for small, but we want make you listen. They can't open the phone line. They can't get people away they call and give them contribution. Then I go count with you back, maybe in the next 20, 30 minutes for make we can close up, sir.
Okay then.
All right. Thank you very much, Victor Mengot. Now we transport experts, like as I be tell we earlier, not to person way new to this platform. We don't get them way before. We bring a can make it can explain to we small, make we get an understanding about the road safety and the road traffic and all this urban mobility project. I believe so yourself don't learn a lot today. Not so? But we're not going to keep them waiting for that long. Make we just make a quick. Where we go just give waiting, we think waiting I will take if we get question for them. We will just spend small time no more, quick one. Yes, us friend, waiting you get for we expert where we get on the platform today.
Thank you very much, Triple, for giving me the platform. Waiting on me one for that we will ask more. I learned say the Navy, because they don't give us some boats recently. And I learned say during one of the representative, I think one of them, let's see, PRO like. So he been in out of the mass media. They talk about the boats, which is good. But the problem we I like, is they not get what they call dry jets. I think the right quotes are not there, but something like a dry jet, something similar to waiting you they say that you get started with a jetty, outside the people and will take like the let's say like the ferry. But for in this case now it starts wearing the Navy, then they get the Navy boats them for can land and repair them offshore. But in other words, they come from the sea, they give them for camp up at a separate area just over the water. But like on the land, then we'll do it and repair them, and then they maintain them, they carry and go back. But Salomon didn't get this. So what did they do? They carry the Navy there, boats there, now Ghana, because I didn't get one. But then say they don't get a promise from the Chinese. They even plan for bring bigger boats than the four with the Hong Kong. Is it Hong Kong? Lord, just see, South Korea, that's it. Like the one they wouldn't bring before. But then promise bigger boats and a place where this jetty, they call it dry something, where we can land them boats and then repair them. So now, what are they ask that question? In case they bring this sea taxi, where they want to introduce, where they will get this similar one, but here not to boats they come up and go inside. Now side with the passenger, then get for go wait, then get the boat taxi and travel just at the edge of that sea. They take go at the other end of east and west for the traffic. How they get for Duam? In other words, they don't contact them or they're not aware. But I believe say if they're not aware, I feel say something would be between the president himself. And then even in fact, there should be awareness of the Minister of Aviation and Transport. Then one thing. Then the other question I would just want to ask me now regarding still the planning of the space. Because when he said then they come on east, then they come west. Okay, that the corridor. And then from the west to the east. But we don't hear the minister, he talked about this corridor actually. He emphasized and during the last speech now you building. He talked about the corridor, but he emphasized on the corridor they wouldn't pass. He talk about they call the blue economy improve. Let's just see if it's not. He talk about corridor one and the route where he don't talk so, but there is no changes there when he talk about the go fly up the route way now that one way they by mountain cuts. He say when they go for bring them pilots 100 buses there, then they come on at the one corridor one at the eastern. Then they can't travel, then they can't inside at the bus stop. So they say that they even change the size of the bus stop, wherein they were able to accommodate the public bus there and the private one there, where government gets, and the private one there, where they for like the one that is about 85% of the private. You see, but that one they in plan. So when they accommodate, they take back the same route as a Stevie Street, come through a U building. He emphasized that then they go right across Wilkins Road for go. So these are the routes. So I don't know how one of that other routes were in the talk about mountain court. What is the plan for that? Is that going to be for private people? Like I say, we the private no one be transport, who for pay, we get a car, like you get your motor, you go drive the car inside. Is that the plan for that road there? Now you might just don't know. I know we will ask them too much question again, but Allah will answer. But I don't know again actually in terms of the one day where they say the contactless with the government we don't try for them will bring come, and how far the other side with the mayor in side one, that's the important side. The area of the mayor when he talked about the regulation in terms of the parking on the CBD. The mayor, they complain right now of that particular thing there. When instead he mentioned and there's an overlap, the mayor say the Sierra Leone road authorities, they emphasize that they for collect money for that one day where they see the parking. So right now there's a problem there between the mayor and the Sierra Leone road transport authorities. So I don't know, because of the laws that they then get bylaws which are similar to the bylaws of the road authority in terms of claiming that. So is the government not going to look into that to review?
All right. Thank you very much, Usfin. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. You're most welcome, sir. Yeah.
May we come with Doctor, make we hear from and quick, waiting he gets for the experts. Yes, Dr. Isatu Keke Jalo, waiting you want for ask or waiting you want for Shipma?
Okay, good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone for yesterday, for wishing me a happy wedding anniversary. I truly appreciate everybody's wishes, and we hope for many more years to come in good health, and peace. And for the guests, I really want to say thank you to the Mr. Mengot, for insight and for the presentation we do today, and also for enlightening we on the different things we'll try for implement now we country. And really, most of them he highlights that things that really happen in New York, which I mean they leave New York. So many of these different transportation system they in place, and we know say, if we really want for change Freetown and we want for reduce the congestion in the country, we therefore begin to think in the modern state, in the modern days, rather than that first time, where them be just, build or have Sierra Leone, or where Sierra Leone was founded, or where, Freetown in general was founded for we, then try to change that into something we look better, because, we already done the cry. We know, say, we country is very small, and where he mentioned here, say, the population or the city be actually prepared for about 200,000 people. And that's very small. You really talk about maybe like a little county. If you talk about New York, for example, like a county, maybe even that, now a very small population where they, like you can one just community where they get about that number of people. So we really need to understand, the place small, but even though we get many of the lands and they're on the hill, and it becomes very difficult, for a lot of people to develop the country, and that can become very also difficult difficult for us get roads them in the country. And then it talk with, it mentioned, which we only mentioned about the Okada riders them. Yes, now a fastest means of transportation for they get to certain areas them where Okada not going to go. But then there's safety concerns when it comes to Okada riders them who don't always talk about here. And the problem them which it also emphasizes, laws and they in place or systems and they will need for strengthening, but then the implementation and can be a challenge in our country. So as they want to make these changes, they have to try to see how best they will implement them things there. So how they will strengthen the things for let everybody benefit from and not to just one person in a sense that, we want our country go forward. We therefore really try for understand, say things have to change. In order for you to change, you have to be able to accept the new change. But people can find it very difficult for go into changing. So now continue the public education. We can to public, we can to safety measures them in how we go improve in and make Sierra Leone become a beautiful, Freetown in general become a beautiful city. And then we talk about, which he mentioned here about the bus lanes, which they say, you have to be authorized to use certain lanes. New York City implement that. Why? Because, people that when not get private motor car, then they inside the bus, they want to get to work early, but then sometimes what you can see, you get taxi drivers, there are private cars that want to use the lane, then instead of the bus too big, then can go by so quickly. So then try for put like time frames. So like 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. when I like rush hour, but people can get to work. There's not a bus lane. Nobody else can pass there. If they engage you, then they give you tickets, and that way if they try to do that and try to make sure the people they understand, say, now a law, you have to follow it. You cannot just overtake the bus driver just because they're going at a different rate because they go for the stop. So then they make things then slow down. But then other people inside that vehicle, they have to be at work. Right, so then they can really help with the congestion and also trying for split the district in a sense. So people are waiting for work like halfway or across the town. Let them carry away the right there as public. Let us stop there. Then he talk about park your car and ride. We get that in New York here, in which like people don't always live upstate. Me in general, I be commute to the city to go to school. I park my motor car, I take the bus, or I park my motor car, I take the train, right? So people when they do that, so then areas then they are like a parking lot. Some of them, they pay, some of them, they pay for them. The one the way they pay for them, they just have to think about it. It's a way of generating income, not for boku money than they pay is like very minimal, so that say you get a ticket where you can you park. That now who say they pick the train up like around upstate who say maybe like why they take I drive, then I park, I take the train. Then I change that to a bus transportation where it will take me like a lesser time. I will relax at the bus. I will actually do some reading while I'm on the bus. And it's better for people, to understand that they could park their car and then, take the public transportation. You will get there on time. And it will actually help for decrease the congestion, the number of cars and when they go into into the city. So when you talk about how you get through Kisi Road, going, Abacha, I doubt if when they even go through that way for get to PZ. Rather, then you have to go to Godrich, and then when they come back, they for a very long time. Like I've experienced that, during my last trip. So that's one of those challenging ones. But with the hope, say, if they want for make all these new improvements in the country, then get to find means them. Like if we talk about the waterways, how do people then go get to that section? There has to be transportation going towards that direction so that people then know, say, then get transport where they take them and motorcar them for the back where they run just in that area rather than then the one there, then the one there, then the one go all the way downtown where they really don't need to go downtown. You talk about downtown, uptown, then you talk about the east or the west. New York City, that's how you commute here. It's one of the busiest, places, different means of transportation and where you talk about the waterways, there you talk about Staten Island, where you cross the ferry before you go there. But the one where they drive, it's longer, but the ferry is shorter. right? Even during rush hours. And then you get these trains them, so I think if you ask me, in as much as what they do with the hopes, maybe in that, whatever they don't identify, they can think about railways, because now one of the other ways then we would really try for beautify Freetown and at the same time help reduce the congestion. We then would try for really utilize more than even the motorcycles or the keke, where they say they're not safe. It's really not safe for people for that and they use, right? So we really hope for the best, and also when they talk about police officers, which he mentioned, and we don't mention this now, say, you stop a driver or like a keke driver or whatever, then you tell us you have to pay this money, right? If you not pay, then you pack him Mutukana or you enter inside the person Mutuka, log on a station first. That's not how you do ticketing. Right? If you want ticket somebody, that money they not for going to your own pocket. The money for actually go into the city, for the city in ways and how they will improve the country, right? And then they forget people which I'm sure he touched on also, where they only for issue tickets them, and people then get the opportunity for going to traffic court and either plead guilty or not guilty. And then when they plead guilty, then they tell them when they go pay. Or they give them plead guilty right away and then go on with that. So, yes, I know we press for time, so I just want left and but with the hope say they look at all them things there. So, and in doing that, it can really help how we country go develop and improve. And we really look forward, to that. And the grants we really appreciate. And we country at this moment, we really need the help. Whatever help come, we take them, but we also want to find ways and how they will create jobs for people that are the country. Because if you get people that when they issue tickets, now then you job down for the issue tickets, then go through the course, give them the training, and it creates a lot of revenue in the country as well as people that they get jobs. And then people that when they adhere, because they know see when they get them tickets, they have to pay. But when it's paid, it's being paid into the government's account in a way that will develop the country. And we didn't see that in New York City. And that, at first, when Mayor Bloomberg come and institute that in New York, people are not being let come. But actually, it helped the country. It helped the city, the 5 boroughs, because now the 5 boroughs, when they actually experience anything, and they with parking tickets and other things like that. But we wish for the best that Sierra Leone will definitely get there. And I want to left it here and say #Salon Strong. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Doctor. You recall you get 2 minutes because we no one keep the expert for that long. You get 2 minutes for just ask a question, or if you want for buttress, you can buttress. Yes, caller, you get the platform. Your name and who the call from, please.
I'm going to talk to.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. My name is John at the London again.
Yes, you get question or you get anything you want.
No. I get question. Now this Coast Guard business I hear from the previous caller we say the boats them way them get now in Ghana they can go for go do repairs, because I quite remember when they work for sail fishing, when they take them fishing boats and carry and go to dry dock, then a Kaniki, where be the one by Port Authority. So I don't know how come they allow that place now for make Chinese, because Chinese they now for take the opportunity for begin the repair them boats and they. And if I now say now countryman them, then I be the technician them and engineer them, will be the see after them boats and they, because the boats and can assure they may they see after the body them, the shaft them, the this and that. So I have to ask if that particular place in a Kaniki they work or not they work. Why come Chinese for can't take over, and again why they be the carry the boats and go na Ghana when more money than they go spend? What will they do at your expense?
All right, thank you very much, caller. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, caller, I did live on air. You get 2 minutes waiting a question, or if you want buttress anything where the experts don't say.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. This is Boy Jalo Jamboria. Back in 1979, I did my geography dissertation on land tenure system in the western area. And I think, sir, I get a very good idea about the plans will be done there for Freetown City, as well as the laws that were applied to City Council, as well as the government itself, how they operates within the city. But from what my friend Victor don't talk to them, of course, we don't discuss with her at one time. I just they say this for make it come to the public domain before I know say the big one and they listen walking they talk. It not seem like say we get an idea of what plans there were for Freetown City, and at the same time there is a lot of duplication as we try to bring out on the program just now, overlaps in functions and roles. Then get a plan for Freetown waterways. There is also a plan where you forget a coastal road from Kleintown up to, it pass through Kingdom up to Congo Cross for join Wilkinson Road. But one of the problems who gets in Sierra Leone, there is no continuity in governance. Everybody they count your plan. May they make this observation, do you let them go and look back at them plans here? Because even that hillside road, we're not completed. It was an original plan for Freetown City. Now this observation I get for make today, sir.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Yes, caller, you live on air. You get 2 minutes. Waiting are you question or waiting you want for add to waiting the experts don't say.
All right, good evening. This is Nancy. They call from US. Thank you very much. What me want for ask is now about the road quality. Because what I notice is Salon then go don't make the road, they say like new in space of 1 year, that road don't begin get pothole. And therefore, what you mean notice is compare like what we get at Tong and Aya, the quality of the road. Yeah, they find out say then get certain roads then they where they for heavy duty motor cars them like truck. Then they tell you say yeah truck not supposed for pass here. Even when I didn't have falling, and will tell you say yeah that for truck only. So like Salon, since we get narrow road, we not get the space enough for create them kind of road and they wonder why they not go make them high quality, you know, for let be say like here when they make the other side for road trucks the way they tote heavy things them, now then they use a certain road only, they know they use the other road. So maybe the other one gets a lower quality for just passengers or maybe private cars. But the other one where they carry heavy loads them, like them big trucks the way they carry food and other stuff them, then get their own road. So maybe Salon, I just think say for begin make road the roads them get a higher quality because we just they get everything in one. Now one road all the muscadine they use, whether they heavy or light, now same road then they use. So I just they ask what them go do about that in terms of quality roads. And then the parking space. What you may observe what they not on, most of the time the drivers they don't know who side for even park. Because they find out say they see certain sides say okay, yeah look like say na side where you go park and drop passengers. But then as you go there, the policeman they can't hold you for park na that side there. So they find out say they don't even get enough side them where they demarcate for drivers them for drop passengers them and pick up passengers. When you look at and I go see say the drivers then intend for park in the middle of the traffic and everybody else get for wait behind them. And until he drop passengers and pick up before he move, and also just want a lot of car put out they all now the same thing that they do. They know the fence side for park because space not even there for park. They not create enough space for park, and therefore that they contributes to the congestion and the traffic, the heavy traffic now the song. And the second hour I want to talk about even the policeman them. Just for example, what you've been talking about then days here, where that policeman hold that somebody, if they talk to her, instead of a fence side park, he just stand up in the middle of the road. To my own understanding, if they talk to whoever who you own, somebody get for send a voice for say, but then don't give hold, I no go. So he go follow that person, they go arrest them. All that in an example, then they do that a lot. People must carry and go they behind each other instead of it can go down. They say, okay, go park in a corner so the traffic no go block. Now they go tinapi deal with you, everybody else they wait, and then the traffic will just continue for ticking. And the other last thing what I just want to talk about is that this parking space, if they find out say all the offices there, they don't get parking space. So they either park in a street where they encroach into the line, where they also contribute to the road in narrow one, where better space no dey for light. So on side maybe 2 motor go able pass at a time. Now 1 motor for pass there because another motor don't can park na the office there. So I just they suggest why them office building them, they know they create maybe the first floor under, then just make them for parking space where people then go pay for park them motor. Until we drive come on home, you can't park under. You will pay either monthly or weekly or on a daily basis for reduce that, for let the streets will be clean, reduce the congestion at the street. So if you then park on and they now just like the shop the way they on the way then they put now, because every building gets shop, every building, no parking space, no nothing. So you go kind of tongue, you know, even get side for parking, go one go na store, out you motokai, one go na store, go bye. Space no day for park. So what you go do, you go just occupy the space within a street. Now you don't encroach na the line too. So if you then get them building there, I will be say the first floor, they all get parking space under. And then you go park, you pay for the time where you park there. You go do your shopping, and then you come, you drive off and go. Somebody else go come occupy. All then they go reduce the traffic na the turn. So me na that the normal gets for today.
All right, thank you. Yes, caller, I live on here. Your name and the call from, please.
Hello, Triple A. This is Janet Martha Musa here. I just want to say thank you very much to Mr. Victor Mengot for the lesson that we don't teach today. It's almost like listening to a lecture, which is very, very interesting. It teach we a lot today. But one thing the way Mr. Mengot said, I pick up quickly. Mr. Mengot said that 200,000 people the city of Freetown was could occupy. So I haven't said that. I want to look at how Nigeria themselves been get a problem in Lagos. We make them get Abuja. So my question really to Mr. Mengot is whether government don't ever think about having an official city away from Freetown, just for reduce the congestion, you know, and therefore move people from the city, push them back into urban areas and all of that. So it is more like a question than a comment.
All right, thank you very much, Janet. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yes, caller, you do on here. Your name and the call from, please.
Hello, Nani.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving the platform. I concern citizen.
You get 2 minutes, sir.
All right. Me, I just realized the laws the way they implement as a law, they put things in place before they implement laws them. If you check the one own country, no side no the way driver will say that the own parking space this. Before they implement law pass somebody, make a provision for that person. We make the provision, the person break the law, I think they will deal with them. But for them to implement law without provision, I just think it's a joke they dip up. They really play with the people they feel it. Check the one who freedom, the one who stadium, we don't get one sober parking space for them to drop and pick, you know, because I've got a junction, anything can happen. You go to Eastern Police at a junction, anything can happen. Garissa Street, nothing, absolutely nothing for this passenger for car. Say, okay, if you rent the car, last it all. Or this the embarkation for local car with, you know this. So how did they implement law for people where they don't make provision for the people then? Other than their own contribution.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you, sir. Yes, caller, you're live on air. Your name and the call from, please.
I'm Kuruma. I call from the United States.
Yes, Kuruma, I get 2 minutes. What's your contribution?
Yeah, one question we need one ask. The government get plans for really relocate State House? The reason we make the access because like I think other countries when you know the State House now the president did well. Because if you can watch now we own country now, you know, that State House, you know, the government is on the other side of the city and the State House they right in the heart of the town. And well, it was possible to say now because of security protocol. Then keep block, streets and where, most of the time now peak hour. I don't say people they rush for work. It can take maybe over then 3 hours. All I need to make, traffic, because it's like, when they don't make that diversion, it's like, vehicles in the cluster, by one particular route. So like, if they can relocate, State House, society, President, they dwell, we don't claim, I don't think, they just for member, for go begin to go and block traffic, for that, Moscow not pass, so President get for pass. Then the other thing again, we will talk about data yesterday in our country. The other day we talked about, police and, whatever funding they ask for. Like we motorcar, Honda, I don't know how they can really manage, whether you get, insurance or a license. I don't know how they can do background check. Because like one of the most common committed crime we know, now traffic violations. If we police can really get, like computer, the smart and series motorcar, they input you registration waiting, then you come up, then give you tickets. Right there, you don't need for pay money, that money you go pay in a bank. I quite believe say, when you think about, the crimes where then riders or drivers that they commit, that alone go give the government or the cities, but come money. I don't have my own contribution. I will continue for listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Koma. Thank you, sir. Yes, caller, you live on here. Your name and the call from, please.
Yeah, good morning, Triple H. I'm Alpha Freetown.
Yes, I'm Alpha. You get 2 minutes. Which you want to add or which you want question on?
No, we don't get anything from add or anything to talk much. All what you make is say this is a clear indication to we, or especially to una common salon, una day outside this country, for say, now only things that we some of we can say. If we, as a Sierra Leoneans, we come together, we put hand on decks, and make sure say we pray God for any leader for the achievement, so that it will be a very good things for we. Because me can say when this country good, now it good for every Sierra Leonean. When bad, now also a bad for every Sierra Leonean. We don't listen to we brother. It don't explain to we vividly today of waiting at the things. The only things where we also for pray to God, say we for day together, we for avoid the issue of lawlessness. We for also make sure say, at the end of the day, all of the good things done for we in this country as Sierra Leoneans. Yeah. And my brother has able explaining, talking about one things we may want to talk about. That now say, we say, it don't compare with Sierra Leone regulation with other countries in terms of transport. It's a law in this country. Indeed, law in this country. The only problem we I think we go get now the country now that we don't get much law enforcement people and because we don't get much law enforcement people in this country because if we think the law enforcers then for enforce the law. We go bring other things as we go attract the mindset of the people. Likewise, and we also as Sierra Leoneans, we look at, especially we who live in Africa, we sometimes lawless because I don't want to say the lawless at the end of the day misses the Africa. We lawless because even the other talk when collaborator for talk about traffic violator. Brothers, especially the riders in this country, I swear to God, they know they observe most of the rules in this country. Then when the police want to enforce the law, you will see the set of the other people and they say, because me not to this, me not to that, now it make the arrest me. So that is the reason we see the police currently in this country, we in the riders and we then all the see to eye to eye. So of course, believe in me, if we maintain laws in this country until we pray God for and we leaders there, Let we forget about the issue, the decline that we leaders. They don't do nothing. They do something now. My dear brother, you say if not you didn't feel me, believe me, when me they talk, and I will praise you, and I will do that. My brother, I know fine. We think shape up Australia for better under the leadership of President Bill. A lot too far, too long, we would also suffer, or they suffer at this country. The things that they can, now we all get her. Yeah. Thank you so much for the program.
All right, thank you very much. I'm Alpha. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Yes, caller, you're live on here. Your name and the call from, please.
Yeah, Triple N, Omar, the call from Los Angeles.
Yes,
one thing where I want to ask. Yes, sir. Sierra Leone not get, Freetown not get earthquake problem, correct? Okay. So the reason why I asked that question is because Michigan and Los Angeles, in the entire United States, California, and we lead the nation into earthquake. And even with that, I can tell you, say, 90% of we business center building them, then get basement parking. That they, because the street and the Freetown, they're very small. Then and they cause, if this man they listen, then they cause chaos on traffic. Because if the road's small, then you get motorcar park on one side, motorcar park on one side, then the small side we left, motorcar they go down, motorcar they go up. That because, in fact, I don't know if Sierra Leone, the people where they manage their city are, because a lot of them, they don't live abroad. Now, the other way than the way the city self, they make money, we get investors them, we get developer them, where they young way no more than they make money, now for build parking lots them. The amount of money we're parking lot they get in this country is not small. I don't know why they don't want to look into that. Any new building where they want to construct like that new city hall, now in them build where they take up to 400-500 cars, now that basement day, that money they go to the city. Because now they collect the money. Now poco money than they do. Again, I want to emphasize that, make me write that question. I swear to God, my brother, if they try to now they open a traffic court division. Let them open a traffic court division. If they open a traffic court division, it eliminates a lot of the problems of where to go on. Because let me tell you, not to every police thief. Some police and they were very, very faithful. I don't give you example today. One young boy been go put boot pa me motuka. That boy they a follow another lumber road. They open down and they pay them. I even forget $100. It was $100, 100,000 euros. He tell me, say, no, sir. He said the bank pay and another bank pay and then you pay. And I got for take another bike, go to that bank pay, I go pay the money, 250,000 euros. Now then give me receipt. Now I can meet them back to that normally turn around. I get the receipt. Me and go take the boot. So what did that tell me? Say, not to all the police. So, and the police themselves, whether they give them book here for the get ticket, therefore make incentive for them. I might be wrong, but the police in California, now reason every month then they give them a book. And the reason why they fed hard, in fact, yeah, police then they hide for the tickets. Because when they finish that book in a month, then they get there, especially if you go to court. Because when you get the ticket, the person can go challenge the court. If the city win the case, that money they come to the city, that police they get incentive, they get something there. So that cable cuts back on the corruption business. But then get for Fenway because the amount of money where traffic courts they give a city now billions of dollars. In fact, California alone, if you run a red light, now $500. If you run a stop sign, now $450. So, but then go for begin, law no go by the traffic light, it when money no day. Let them begin to put them mark, like what in the man say, let them they draw a ground. Let them they put them stop sign there. Stop sign no expensive. Let them begin to do that, but do ya with a big, let them get traffic caught. Let them get traffic caught and give them police here, where they give the book, let them give them incentive. You could see how they go get our money for the repair the road them. Now that no more, my brother. Thank you very much,
Omar. Thank you, sir. Yes, caller ID live on here. Your name and who the call from, please.
Yeah, I need to talk to.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just want to touch on what Ms. Musa was talking about this new city because if I can remember vividly, some time ago, there was talk about building a new city in the Shabo Island where they involved this guy, Idris Elba. So waiting at the outcome of that project because they float the idea. the news, and we don't talk about that thing in this program before, about months and months ago. So we can come out of it.
I think that project is still on works, but we're not hearing nothing yet.
I just remember about where Ms. Janet, they talk about New City, I say, okay, yeah, I remember, say, oh, they don't talk about New City, we didn't have the details or what thing didn't happen with it, but we're hearing nothing. Okay, that was my call. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Ayo. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Yes, caller, you're live on here. You name and say the call from, please.
Hello, I'm calling from Berlin, Tegel.
What's in your contribution? Quick one for the experts. Will they talk about the road urban mobility project, sir?
Yeah, thank you very much, Tripoli. Today is my first day for call on this program. My name Bakar. I want to send the light by the traffic rules and the traffic sector. The Sierra Leone government, they not even try for no back. One thing where they affect the poor people in other country. They one caller mentioned he say the traffic the traffic people, the police, they are supposed for print book where they for give ticket to people them book then they wait them for print. If you see them print them, then get other way means where then they go print other book them back. Where then they give people them where that money they can at them pocket, they go to the government coffer. So, that country, my brother, I don't really know how we get for what solution we get for that country. But the only way me look at them, we need for get leader way not to book business. Then people this book business don't spoil this country. It don't spoil our country. All man the show book. Common sense na make book. That the road signs. Look, from me we me know myself na salon. 30 day people they tell we say this na the old road signs then they were, na the road signs and they were. But at the end of the day, where even one pole break safe for go the road transport for me then go try for fix that road day. That's that pole. It go take almost 2, 3, 4, 5 months. They know they fix them. So the country just be lawless. And the leader them, they don't care. They just care about themselves. It's shameful where you can other man country, even you go to a place like even you work in the sub-region or African country where they see some country there, they see the pole, they go them fine for look. But we all leaders them, they just think about themselves, they no one know. So now this is my contribution anyway.
All right, thank you very much, caller. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
All right. Our first time caller, we want for welcome him. We come with Victor Mengot, we na a transport expert. You don't hear all waiting the callers they don't say. Yes, Victor, waiting you want to respond to the callers then, sir.
Okay, I agree. The key thing the way people and talk, the first thing the law enforcement. And also the people themselves observe say with law enforcement, there's a lot of duplication of responsibility. We not get transparency like openness. Some people then talk about say how for pay the traffic fines and everything. We get way there for improve their system then. So also law enforcement now part of this urban mobility project. Because if you are bringing more modern transport system, you get to look at the institutions that were involved in the law enforcement, the law way they implement, and how people understand the law. The second thing where people then talk more about parking. Again, parking they under this urban mobility project, and I know say the Freetown City Council don't do a parking plan, and even the new building where they get parking space. Because one caller been talk about businesses that we get we need parking. The quality of roads is under the responsibility of Sierra Leone Roads Authority. And I'm not saying that we get road design manuals them. So one of the key things we camp on that quality of roads, first of all, when you look at road maintenance, you therefore look at how will they give contract to the people there in the private sector where they do the road maintenance and the standards the way the roads authority they maintain. So then therefore the contracts now they first will they look in terms of the roadway and they maintain the materials that they use, especially things for do with material testing. Engineering. The same call I talk about roads for heavy lorries. One law they will get in a saloon where we know they implement now the law way for deal with axle load. We mean say they heavy lorry they get load the way they for carry. And when they carry the heavy load and they especially within the Freetown area, we get Boku Bridge and like recently we see the Savage Street Bridge collapse. Some of them bridge and they will get proper signage for no waiting at the restrictions of the vehicles the way they use them bridge and they. And the only way we will know, especially the lorry and they, either they come out through factory or they come on a port or they come on an industry. So we can get mobile way bridge. Country then they will get mobile way bridge where you get for way they lorry then they. And if the lorry overweight, we get penalty. Then they now we law books them. The next thing we talk about the same parking. When they talk say building and forget then commercial building forget underground parking. Well then they come to what we call building control and building regulation. In them part of the earlier day where you want to build any major commercial building, one of the things that they look at with the access, with they look at the building and find out how much traffic it generates. So if you know say it generates a lot of car traffic, you the developer, if you're able to provide the parking on site, you go pay the authority for provide what we call commuted parking. So the authority go find space where you go contribute to that payment way for now get parking in the system. Then one of the other things the way people then talk about, somebody mentioned about mountain court. Say if they get that restriction then at Kisigo they probably waiting will happen to mountain court. You see, traffic is one thing. When you do traffic parking and traffic control, if you try to restrict vehicles in one area, it will actually affect the other area. So when we look at the corridor, we also get for look at the arteries then to the corridor and how they control traffic. I don't get Freetown. I noticed Mountain Court, they make a way from Kisiro to Todd Street, now two-way. Then from Todd Street, they go up to Macaulay Street, now one way. But again, road like Mountain Court, we get for look at whether if na place where all type of traffic can be. You can get a traffic control where you only get people that will get resident permit to use the cardi, and then you can make road like Mountain Court for Okada and Keke. So all that they camper with traffic control. Now we talk about lawlessness. Yes, lawlessness. One thing I don't always talk about, now we say, as in Christina Kriona, before foot na NDF foot the fella. When we President Kanapa, one of the first executive order we issue, now for say, no minister or senior public service servants enough for book traffic. Even the Inspector General at that time, they even issue an edict on that. But again, it come back to the enforcement. So we never will see that they come into operation. Then another caller talk about relocating of State House. I know say sometimes somewhere in the news, this present government when they look at State House somewhere around that region area where they mean say President go turn the soil. But so far, I don't know how far that plan they don't go. Again, it come back to the same system about where all man they go work at the same time, and then one of the problems we're getting at Salon now, where we also admit, now then too much, almost people they are entitled to forget siren and forget special traffic rights. Then they will get for look into them very seriously. Because now we get so many people the way, because then them big allege to them, all man want special preference. And the way they book traffic, now the same way the other people in they book traffic. The final thing where I think I will mention now, where people are non talk, but where I think say also then on the Facebook side, now this idea of traffic courts. I think that's something where it don't timely. Because if we get traffic courts now, people that way no say they get it right on that. First, people have to understand the law. We have to get a lot of public education, radio program. Program like this, they help. In the past in Sierra Leone, SLBS been get one program where they call For Will and To Foot. So the then program here we for use, we need massive public education so people can go know their right. So the enforcement officer there, whether a city council police or whether a traffic cops or whether a police or they not go abuse the power because they get for act within the law. And me don't they work with police, and I believe say the police very well meaning, and they say they're force for good. So we will continue for engage them and for make sure say we do the right thing for all man for benefit.
I don't know if you get anything for talk about this new city where people and they talk about. You get any answer or on your own personal opinion anyway? Thinking to say we not go get Freetown right in managing the traffic and all this congestion. Maybe we just need a new city.
Well, we can talk about new city, but Salon very expensive. One thing we'll get for do, we'll get for look at the reason why people and they congest in Freetown. Freetown population increase for two reasons. One, we will get the war, then we will get Ebola. So the people that we can not go back. Now make sure government not work in isolation. One of the things that we'll get in a salon, now the local government act, where I think say the government is reviewing now about decentralization, where then they make sure say the different region them, they hand over power for them, let them develop the region. So if they different region and they get facilities like schools, hospitals, employment opportunity, but I should say beaucoup people then go relocate, and then different cities then, because with cities they are apart from Freetown, they're all underpopulated. So when it comes to tackling that, now the settlement problem, we have to look at with planning, we have to look at with local government laws them, we have to look at how we empower the local government then for let them develop the area so people then go find it attractive. Because people then go tap society where they know say they get good electricity, they get good water supply, they get good hospital, they get employment opportunities. If we do that, I think say that there will be a better solution than thinking about an expensive project like a new city.
What about the traffic lights? Because we hear about traffic lights lately. Is it part of this urban mobility project or just the type of complementum?
Yeah, well, we get, the president will come, he creates an organization called Office of the Presidential Infrastructure Initiative, where he gets a special advisor on that. So traffic light and traffic signalization is also part of this program, and I think say that office doing that in the lead. They may not begin to do a survey in a major junction then for see how the traffic, the flow, and under this project, we look at how we will do traffic simulation for check for origin and destination survey, and the major junction them, we will think for put traffic lights in it.
What's in the lifespan of a brand new bus? Because in Sierra Leone, every time a brand new bus, we go hear the praises, sing and everything. But before you know it, again 1 year, 2 years, they're not in operation again. What's in the lifespan of a brand new bus, sir?
Okay, when you look at bus, lifetime of a brand new bus, first of all, you therefore look at the area where they operate. So if they operate in an area where the roads then good, then one condition where they look. Then we get what we call in transport planned preventive maintenance. Maintenance now a key because when they do planned preventive maintenance, you know the way to say the road broke down. We get three types of maintenance. We get A maintenance, B maintenance, and C maintenance. A maintenance now after 2,000 kilometers. B maintenance now after like 5,000 kilometers, 3,000 to 5,000 kilometers. Then you get major when at 8,000. So if you get proper maintenance, you get proper road system, and driver also, the driver training important because the one when they drive the vehicle, also they affect the lifespan of the vehicle. So if you put all them factors into consideration, I believe say a brand new bus can last anything between 5 to at least 8 years before you look at replacement.
So what do you make we know they meet the mark there?
The reason why we know they meet the mark there, as I say, are three reasons. One, the road network. because the road network them very bad. The second reason, now the type of maintenance they will get. Proper maintenance system, where they talk about planned preventive maintenance, which means that, you know, like when you buy your car, even if you look at the manual, they will tell you when for change oil. They will tell you when for change, depending on your mileage. So if we get a regime for proper planned preventive maintenance, maintenance for make sure say, you keep that and make sure say the bus not broke down, it's there on the road. But more importantly, not driver training. Because at the whole of Sierra Leone, there is no institution where they train bus driver them or lorry driver them or even Puda driver them. Even though we lost the whole get in a saloon, the Sierra Leone Road Safety Authority get a mandate for regulate and licensed driving schools. Until we begin get professional driver training institutes, I'm afraid that human behavior and human error will cause a lot of problems when it comes to the lifespan of a public transport or a bus.
I remember when they opened the Grafton Regent Road, that new road we go round. When it all started, no big truck no be the past day. But for right now, there is no regulation, even though checkpoints did it, but when they see all kind of truck and cars them, they pass na that road day. Enforcement will come again na problem. So waiting we go see after all this urban mobility project, we see say inside 1 year, 2 years, everything fades back, then all things come back to zero.
Okay, when you talk about that Grafton Road, now a matter of enforcement, but we can use engineering methods for restriction. Because like some places in the house, you know, in this country or other country, them, for enter some of their road and they, you can get like a restricted entry point where the width of the vehicle, it go only, you put like a barrier, we go only allow certain width of vehicle for pass when I like motor car up to SUV or light vans. With lorry, because of the width, not going to pass it. So if the lorry will pass it, it's not going to go past it. The other things that we look at more or less in traffic management, which myself as a transport planner and transport expert, I don't go free tongue a lot. I don't try to talk with the authority then. Now, forget proper traffic cameras there for the monitor with traffic. And that is not too difficult thing. And there's also plans which have been discussing with the government for bringing the private sector for providing things and there for we, like speed cameras, traffic CCTV, where they can recover the cost through traffic violation and fines. So not to all to get for depend on government, but at the end of the day, now we government get for take the lead. Now they get for decide say, well, this is a priority to we. Especially when it comes to one of the things the way people they mention, how to identify vehicles them and drivers them. Because that is also a security problem. You know, for example now one main road there for left return, where you get for pass through then toll gates there. But all them toll gates then they get camera. But the concessionary agreements will get with the people the way they operate the toll gate, the Chinese there, they not get the mandates for check vehicles them with a camera they use for able match records of vehicles that where people they not thief with and they try for care and go Guinea or Liberia.
Okay. Before I left you now before you go, can give you Tata message. Talking about this one now, about the one green road okay. We see lately a lot of accidents. Now the Waterloo, Bow or McKinney Highway. Any plans there for how for see about this?
Well, when it comes to accidents, first of all, enforcement is the key issue. One of the things that we look at and how we empower the police there with logistics, forget a mobile police force. Like in most countries, not only in the Western world, but in also our country and African countries, you get highway patrol. And you can get policemen and waiting at the cause of road accidents and then call them highway then. Now speeding and bad driving, overtaking where they don't know for overtake. I just finished a project in Liberia where I work with the Liberia National Police who don't give them radar speed guns. where we get mobile police force na the highway in Liberia, where now they start for use their radar speed guns and they for do speed enforcement laws them. So these are the things we can do. And I shall say again, we Salone Police and then go soon benefit from their facilities and with me on support and working with them, I'm sure we'll be able to improve enforcement in Sierra Leone. And by the way, just for the record, I've been giving my own service pro bono to the Sierra Leone Police as they help them with the traffic management for the past 3 years. And I will still continue to do that.
Okay, since you don't give them your service, Sierra Leone Police, the traffic division, corruption and the drivers, they're all inside one bucket. Yeah. What thing you don't help them with for able for separate Sierra Leone Police inside that bucket and pull them come out nado?
Well, we discuss plans on how for improve enforcement of the police. The last time I've been carrying some experts in Gutong, we even do a presentation at the Police Executive Management Board, whereby we can get a system whereby you can even be able to identify a police officer, whether that police officer there is assigned for a particular duty or for this or enforcement role. We also look at providing CCTV cameras in the whole of the main areas in Freetown, where the police will get access to on a 24-hour basis. So these are some of the things we've been discussing with the police. But at the end of the day, the way we put with the system structure, as we know, the police day under the police commission, which is headed by the vice president, and also some of these decision will get to be taken at cabinet level. That is where we get the hold up, because at times some of them big allegiance the way we get in our country, it can be very difficult to get them for understand some of them tier who they try for bring forward. But we don't go tire. Sierra Leone Police is a force for good. I know say they get bad apples, but I believe in their leadership, especially now the current IG is somebody I've known for a long time, and he spent a lot of time in the traffic division. And I hope say with my next visit in Sierra Leone, I'll get a discussion with the IG and look at some of the programs that will get under this urban mobility project for see how we can support the police for let them be a force for good and for improving enforcement.
Definitely, after you get that meeting there with the IG, because we'll go bring you come back now, so that then go be the real force for good rather than the force for Mokofe, where some of we they see them right answering and so then be more especially in the traffic division. What you want left with we today, sir?
Well, what I left with the people that we don't listen and we don't listen me, Salone and world view. The responsibility for make Salone better than we all earn. We also have one for appeal to the enforcement officers and say, well, this opportunity we don't get through the World Bank for let we do all the changes and let we get the all for corporate. Let we all work together for let we make Salone better, and then the work will be easier. Finally, we get technology we can use for improved traffic management, whether in a traffic signaling system, whether in a traffic light, whether in a CCTV, or whether an app for do vehicle checks properly and maintain records. We're ready. Statistics Sierra Leone, we're there. We're appealing to you. Let us get actual data of everybody where they drive and everybody where get vehicle license in that country there. And if we get them, we will able to know and manage with traffic properly.
I know I don't say for go. Because this last one you say, you call statistics Sierra Leone. But I think, say, if we get a proper data system, Sierra Leone Road Safety Authority can able to tell we all who that don't go obtain license from them for the drivers as well as the vehicles them.
Well, from the discussion I get on with them, because there are other people that are lazy, they are working on it, especially with this vehicle checks where they don't get. With the hope, say, with time, we will get the database available. It is still work in progress. The new director is somebody I know, and there's a young man who is very forward-looking, just needing cooperation. Let's work together so that work will be easier, life will be better for Sierra Leoneans. And also, we're able, if we do proper enforcement, the revenue generation alone will able to contribute to traffic improvement. Because some time ago, there's an organization at Salon called CAL, Center for Accountability and the Rule of Law. Then they even do a report where they assess how much government revenue they lost due to the system will get to enable account for all their fines them and traffic things they want for benefit from. Just like them country here, where they make private parking, the money where they get from parking, then they use for improved transport. So none of us say we want to do them here just because government want. And I know say under the last IG, when I will work with them, if we don't go parliament and parliament we don't give them the go ahead say, they can set up a system whereby police can able to use some of the revenue where they generate for their operations. Traffic, as I tell you, the police now one of the small departments. And when they look, the police get a challenge, like crime prevention and everything. And the budget for traffic is very, very low. With traffic officers, they don't even get vehicles. So these are the challenges we have to look at, and then we'll get for talk to proper government. Then we'll all sit down together and improve with police as a force for good.
Thank you very much, Victor Echo Mengot. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that's a transport specialist, Victor Echo Mengot. We come and shed light for we on so many areas them we be done the talk now. And today we get somebody way they inside the system and it can break and down for we proper one. That last side where they talk, maybe if the traffic police then they're able to get the money and they take pan bribery. Sometimes if I don't get a lot of a lot of patrol vehicles them. If that money they collect from them drivers, then they use them for buy motor canoe so. Well, they say I force for good, even though feel saying I force for Mokofe. We do it. Make we really see a force for good. I want to tell thank you to Victor Mengot for we come help we forget the discussion today, and we always take part in the program. You will call, you will listen. We are here. You don't know now, say, Bokutin and the way they happen in a salon through the law enforcement, they win at the advantage and the seize, but we things they would and they do, we know, even then at the law books of Sierra Leone. But anyway, then they do them. Not so? They still they do them, even though not in our law books. Okay. I make way they talk about this civic education, citizen sensitization. Citizen sensitization. We need them more. We truly and really, really need them. Because when you know you're right, man, who can. But the saddest thing is, even though you feel saying that you're right, man, the police there. They don't feel say. When they cannot put that chain by the steering and they do not. That's it. You done. You only done. Well, now we'll left everything today. Now we'll left everything for today. We go there back tomorrow. Tomorrow again, we will get a very good discussion. I get two people who they come with on board. Where they can talk about the educational system in Sierra Leone. Now they can talk about tomorrow. And on Thursday, I get somebody again where they can't wait. It's going to be a busy week, you know. But it's going to be a very interesting one, trust me. We all go learn a lot. Yes, who's going to be the breaking news again today? Anyway, I'll leave here. We'll go there back tomorrow. Till we meet again, Tripoli say, Tata.